Hello, ladies. It's Gillian and Ginine, and I cannot wait for you to see how she spells her name because, we're all about the G's up in here. She has a really cool story, a really cool offering, and a brand new book. So I will leave it with that. Take it away.
Thank you, Jillian. I'm so happy to be here. You are so beautiful inside and out, and what you're doing is so important for the world. So thank you for having me. I feel blessed and honored. My name is Ginine Emily Smith. My mom wanted to be different. It's just Janine, but she wanted to spell it the French way, and we are not from France, but I love it. And then Emily is my grandma's name. So I'm just like really proud to have that as part of my name. And I am a global speaker and international bestselling author. I'm a musician, singer, songwriter, music producer. But you know what? Nobody cares about the accomplishments. Really, it's like, what is our passion, ladies? What is it that you were made for more? You know that you were made to help the world, serve the world, be that medicine for that one person that needs it, like right now, right today. And that's the biggest reason why I wrote my story to stage book. And it's exactly how it sounds. It's taking your story to your stage, and it's the badass guide to rising from pain to power. And really what I did, I have to just share this with you. This is 40 years in the making. And what I mean by that is my dad was killed a very sudden and tragic death. It was unexpected when I was 15. And he also suffered from depressive illness, which at the time, because this is years ago, that was a taboo, especially in the Catholic world, our family. You didn't even talk about it. It was like this heaviness that went over the entire family, but it was just, they didn't have the knowledge and the information that they do about depression that they do today. But he had depressive illness, and it was really hard to be in a room with him because of that heaviness, and I didn't understand it. So when he was killed, I told myself that I was going to write a book for him to honor him called Through the Eyes of Darkness, because I didn't want people to just remember him for the last few weeks, few months, few years of his life. He was one of the most caring, Jesus-filled, passionate people I've ever met. But towards the end of his life, that didn't shine through. And I really just wanted to leave a legacy. Well, fast forward 4 decades later, right? It's become so much more than that, because our stories, our pain, our grief, it's the way we respond to it. It's healing out loud. Hearts are in sync around the world when we heal out loud. And when we get to the other side of that grief and pain, to where it's not our wounds, it's our scars, it truly can save a life. People can resonate with your story. And so I wanted to find a way to take all of our stories, a lot of mine, my dad's. Okay, I'm going to share something very intimate and precious, is that the publisher released this book. And on that same morning, my mom, Marianne Mazursky, passed away. And that was unexpected. I thought I had years left. I thought I had years left with her, and I didn't. And so in the book, we dedicate it to my father and my mom. It actually says, for my mom, who held 6 of us together, the 6 of us kids, and loved us in the way that she knew how. And so I'm very honored to present this book, because it is part methodology. I use my frameworks that I've developed over the years of using your story as your power to reach that one person that needs you right now. And I'm just, so, those tears keep coming. Grief is a real thing. Some days I'm half brain, but it really is. It shows you how to reclaim your voice, embody your story, step into the life you are meant to lead. It's for women who are successful on paper, but still feel unseen, invisible. I know you've done the work. You've built the life. You've showed up for everybody else like my mom did. And deep down, you know that there's more voice, more alignment, more you. And this book truly is the turning point.
I love that. So, did your mom get to see the book before she passed, or kind of how did that go down?
No, my mom knew the brilliance that my husband and I are bringing to the world. And I want everybody to be able to proudly say that your brilliance, the world needs your brilliance. It's Hearts in Sync Productions is our company. And she knew that we were speaking on the big stages and, creating what we were creating. But I have to be honest, I procrastinated. I didn't tell her about the book. I wanted it to be a surprise. I was working really hard on it for about 3 months, making sure everything was in place with the publisher, and I was waiting for it to publish, waiting for it to become bestseller before I told her about it. Waiting, waiting, waiting. I don't know why, I couldn't tell you, because I could tell my mom anything and everything. We were best friends, best friends. So I don't know why I waited really, except that I did. She never knew about the book. She never found out about it. But I know she's up in heaven now. She's my guardian angel. She walks side by side with 3 days after this book released, I was supposed to speak at a conference in Houston called Healing Through Action. And it was for women who have been in a domestic violence or sex trafficked or something of that nature, which is part of my past. And I didn't know if I'd be able to do it. But my personality tells me, like, don't cancel. And I woke up to my mom literally being right beside me, saying to me, Ginine, go and make sure every single woman there knows that she's important, that her story matters. Help them feel seen and heard and deeply, deeply loved, because my mom was also a storyteller, a master storyteller, beautiful inside and out. And she was right there. I don't want to sound like wooey gooey, like there was a ghost, but she was right there and she was walking beside me. She's my guardian angel. So I know she knows about the book. You know what I mean?
I do. And to hear you say that you kept it a secret and not really knowing why, I've had a lot of women come on the show and say that about various different, I don't want to say projects, but we'll say projects that they're working on. And I think it's a fear of failure in some way. When we do these things that are so unbelievable, like who writes a book or who builds a house from scratch, who builds a school, like who does these unbelievable things that so many women who come on who are superwomen do, you don't want to get kind of laughed out of the circle. And I was kind of like that with when I wrote our murder mystery. I was like, I'm not going to tell anybody I wrote a murder mystery because that's just goofy and silly. Like, who does that? That's so separated from my brand, from what I normally do. And I just tell the life as it happens. I don't make up stuff. And so I waited until it was really almost done. And honestly, I would have waited until it was like a bestseller before I told anybody. But then you got to get people on board to get it to be a bestseller. So you do kind of hit that delta where you have to let the cat out of the bag. But I completely know and I have heard so many women share that same sentiment. And I also love the torch you're carrying about the value of stories. So many women that I talk to don't think they have a story. They
Mhm.
don't think their journey has value. They think, oh, I'm just a mom. But you're a mom to a boy. And you know how many moms have girls and have no idea how to be a boy mom, and you giving them those tips? So it's things that are so simple like that. And I love that you're helping in a very developed way women own their stories, see the power of their stories, and bring them to the stage. I love that.
What you said is epic and golden nuggets. My mom was that person. Oh, Janine, I don't have the life that you've lived. I haven't experienced this or that. I'm like, Mom, you had 6 kids. Your husband was killed. You rescued all 6 of us and gave us a better life. And you took yourself back to school after being a stay-at-home mom for several years and became a very successful paralegal. Think of all the things you've done. And it's true. It's true that some of the clients, they say, well, I have 2 perfect parents, great family. I haven't really suffered a divorce or this or that. And then you start talking to them and you find out their child has autism and they've created a program to help other mothers with autistic children. I mean, come on, everybody has a story and it doesn't have to be some intense major trauma. And I want to backtrack a little because I believe that this really goes along with what you were saying about fear of failure. and sometimes why we keep things secret. This was the fifth book that I had written, and I've been on stages sharing the deepest, deepest parts of my story, which some are like, you just can't make that stuff up. Right. It's just things like I survived a serial killer. And I teach my people, it's like you start your talk with something major, like I survived, or a serial killer tried to take me out. Then my own body tried to finish the job, but I'm still here, right? Something major like that. And then you go into your message. And so I have been sharing a lot of my, oh my gosh, personal stories that I used to have a lot of shame about that I don't anymore. Shame, say goodbye to shame. You should not be afraid or ashamed of any part of your story. It's a part of you. But what was different was sharing some of my other family, and I wanted to be respectful because my story was their story in so many different aspects and places. And I must have rewritten things several times because I would say it and then I'd go back and say, okay, if that person was reading it right now, what would they feel? Right. And so it's kind of one of those things where you want to be your authentic self, but you want to protect those that you love and do them justice. If does that make sense? It's like, so that was a part of it as well. I wanted to honor my mother, honor my siblings, honor my father in a way that was not disrespectful or disparaging in any way.
And that's definitely something that I struggled with when I was writing my memoir as well. I wanted to tell my story, my truth, but we don't live alone. We don't live in capsules independently in life. We have interactions, quite tremendous interactions with other people. And so, how do you tell the story of your life honestly and authentically while also representing things, especially when people maybe haven't done things that were of the best choice or decision. And it's not fair to rewrite history and make their actions seem better than they were. But then also knowing that by writing this is going to have an impact on them.
Mm,
You know,
yes.
so there is a lot of responsibility with kind of managing that scenario. And I can definitely understand your struggle with that. And then kind of with the work you do, helping women bring their message to the stage, to the world. What does that journey look like usually?
I use my rise and roar frameworks that I developed over the years, and rise is the internal transformation. And it is one of those agnostics. So R is reclaim. You reclaim your voice, your energy, your worth. Over the years, I had lost all of that. It was buried so deep down inside. I was performing for worth. That was one of the reasons why I flatlined in 2010. I was burning myself out by not working harder because that's not what burns you out. It's not living in your authentic truth. It's performing for your worth, you know? And so it's reclaiming all of those things. And then I stands for integrate. And it's taken all of those little stories, every role that you've played, corporate Ginine, creative Ginine, strong Ginine, broken Ginine, church Ginine. It's taken all of those and integrating them to where all of those stories are your story and you show up in your authentic truth in a cohesive, integrated way. And that's really important for your nervous system as well, because you show up with a regulated nervous system and the audience can feel it if you're not regulated and you're not showing up as your true authentic self. And if you don't feel safe, where in the rooms that you show up and you don't feel comfortable, people will feel it. They may not know exactly what it is, but they're not going to trust you, believe you, buy from you if you yourself are not grounded. And so integrate has a lot to do with that and nervous system. And then S is, of course, storytelling, everything that we've already said, finding a way to tell your story that moves people. So it goes from a I, me, to a you. I have experienced this. You may be able to resonate. You may not have lost a parent, but maybe you've had that situation in your life that was so painful, so full of grief that you didn't know you'd get on the other side. So storytelling in a way that moves people. And then E is empower, that again, it's the internal transformation where you feel empowered to go out into the world. And then it goes into the roar, which is the external part of it, roaring into the world, right? It's like rising up to the occasion because you are so grounded in who you are that nothing's going to keep you down. And you're going to show up in those rooms, walk into that room, own. So O is own, your truth to the point that people feel it. They're like, I want to know that person. So they feel your presence and your truth before you even say a word. And then A is activate. The last R is, of course, just roaring, just rising into the beautiful, brilliant person that you are. Because again, you're so grounded in who you are. You're not ashamed. You're not afraid, right? Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm fearful. Had a little bit of fear before I got on your podcast, Gillian. You know, it's when you move into the fear, you still show up. You still go. Some fear is good, right? It actually gets you on your feet because you're like, I want to make sure I'm prepared. I want to make sure I shine. So, you don't show up too confident. But so that's kind of the framework in a nutshell. I know it's very, high level.
Yes. But you actually touch on a point that we've really been. I tease that I'm just the moderator of this podcast. I don't decide where she has a mind of her own, and she decides what we're going to talk about. And that has been intuition for much of season 3. All of the stories have kind of centered around cutting out the outside noise so that you can hear your inner intuition and then learning how to, gosh, trust it.
Yes.
Because I mean, you can't see it. You can't, and sometimes that intuition is telling you to do something that may be atypical for standard. It may be telling you to adopt a child. It may be telling you to wait to have children. It may be telling you to move to another country. Like things that socially people are like, so learning how to kind of grow and develop that has really been a central theme. What would you say to someone who's kind of maybe struggling to listen to their inner voice and trust it and learn how to move with it?
Such a great question. Pause, have some quiet time. If you're a prayer, pray. Let the Holy Spirit fill you. Just listen to your inner voice and you have to like get rid of the noise sometimes. Put your phone away, turn the TV off, go to a place where you feel so comfortable. And sometimes that's in your own mind. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in that spot that is so peaceful and brings you joy. For me, that's the ocean. It's always the ocean somewhere with my feet in the warm sand, the soft Caribbean sand. And take yourself to that space and know that you're not alone. You're never too broken. You're never too old. You're not too young. None of that stuff matters. Your story matters. You matter. And know that you are made for more. If you have that little intuition inside, you talked about intuition, that little voice, that intuition that you were made for more, that you want and need to step up and level up, whatever that means for you. It means different things to different people. It doesn't mean you have to be on this huge, big stage or have a TV show or a podcast. None of that. It's how you want to get your story and your message out there. Listen to that and know that that is truth and that you are made for more. And you don't have to do it alone. There are people out there, including myself, who can save you thousands of hours and thousands of dollars because we have learned the secret sauce and how to, take this and, take it down to where you could do it in a lot faster because I believe that our world needs more women leaders, more women storytellers, more women speakers. Right now, we are even below 30%. If you look at all the conferences, everything that's happening out in the world, and you do the numbers, and I know I also an event planner and put events together. It's less than 30% women, truly. And we need more women out there because if we rise together as no more comparison, no more competing, let's stand together as one unit because we're all in this female, women, human world together. So why are we competing? Why are we comparing ourselves? We should stand up and do it together. I just want to say this really quick because I know we're nearing the end, but the one of my actresses that I absolutely love, Mariska Hargitay. She's the SVU star, Jane Mansfield's daughter. I just love her. But she is a speaker. She goes out and does congressional hearings, and she was instrumental in having Harvey Weinstein's thing overturned. And she was quoted as saying, "Many women speaking together, scary. You're dang right it is. It is risky. It is scary for those out there because we can create change. We can be the catalyst that changes the world if we rise together." Because that's what it took, was her and many, many other women coming together as one unit and speaking.
And that completely aligns with we had a guest on recently who foster to adopted. And so she got put into the mom group kind of instantly versus trickling in through, going to her maternity classes and daycare and all that. And she's like, I had no idea. She's like, the mom group is out of control. You need something, they're right there. You have a question right there. She goes, it's like a wave. And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. We continue to look at ourselves individually. Yes, we are strong, but collectively, wow, what we can accomplish. I mean, to say nothing of our ability to multitask. I mean, we've
Mhm,
got that.
mhm.
It really is and remarkable, and I love that you're offering this. And I kind of want to transition to how you help women if they think they have a story. This kind of they're just inkling, their intuition is knocking on them, and they kind of have a story and they want to get on stage. How can you work with women to help them share their voice?
Excellent question. We do have different offers depending on the client, how far they want to take it. And I just jump on a call with them and I just want to hear your story. I really want to hear your story and find out what your goals are, what you want to do. And we customize every single client. There's no cookie cutter. We can take you full circle if you want, meaning if you know you have a story, you're not sure how to get there, we can help you craft your signature talk. We can create your speaker assets. We can do your speaker reel, your sizzle reel. We can get you your personal branding. It's all important. It all leads to breaking through the noise and getting that visibility because there is a lot of noise out there. We do have speaker bureaus. My husband and I have a full company where we can get you on those stages. My husband and I have a TV show called Rockstar Diaries, Healing Out Loud. We have hundreds of thousands of viewers on that. I've got a podcast. You have a podcast, and I'm in the top 5% and with hundreds of thousands of downloads because women are stepping to the challenge, and we're all just shining our truth. We have those stages. So again, it's not cookie cutter. I want to jump on a call. If you want to contact me, I could give my website. It's really, my website is easy. It's badasslioness.com and it's BADDASS Lioness. And there's buttons to get a meeting with me, that type of thing. But we will customize an offer. We coach, we do master classes, we do full day where we actually can film you. A lot, that's one of the mistakes or one of the challenges that people have is they don't have those assets, that visibility, that branding, and they don't even know where to begin on that.
And I love that you provide that service because I always say I can do anything, but I can't do everything. And there are some things you straight up don't want me to do. Like you don't want me to do your taxes. That is
Mhm.
not in my skill set. But there are some things where I really do excel. And so I could see a lot of women who have a great story who want to do it, but the are just absolutely crushed with overwhelm of how do I get a headshot? How do I get a website? How do I even go about knowing these people? I mean, I think back to when I first started podcasting, it felt this overwhelming. And now it's like everybody's my homie. I'm like, hey, what's up, boy? I saw you a year ago. Hey, girl, how's it going? Like, it's just like any industry, you create friends and circles, and it's not as intimidating to walk in the room. But the very first day of school, when you don't know where the milk is in the cafeteria and what time recess is, it's overwhelming. And I just think about how many women's voices potentially would remain silent if they
Mhm.
didn't have someone like you who's already done the tuition, who's learned the path, who can just kind of walk them through and say, hey, here's what we need to do. And that's another thing, too. I mean, kind of going back to failure, it's really hard for a lot of people, especially the high performers, to fail. And so I could see someone having a story that's awesome. I'm trying to get a couple of gigs, not getting them, and then saying, well, they just don't like my story. They love it. And in reality, it could be that they love your story. They're just not having it presented in the right way. So I love what you're doing.
I love what you just said. And truly, to get back to the connection part, I want to share this because these kind of magical opportunities and moments happen. Next Wednesday, I was invited to speak on the same stage as Hall of Famers. It's for the Los Angeles Tribune. It's called Voices of Impact. It's in Los Angeles, June 10th. But I got that opportunity because of a connection and showing up into rooms ready to serve, not what's in it for me, showing up to other people's rooms and podcasts or whatever it is, and having that heart of servitude and just the connection and meeting people and just loving on them. That's how it happens. And then all of a sudden they introduce you to somebody else. You introduce them to somebody else. This magic happens, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm in the same room as, Grammy award winning, person, Ryan Tedder from One Republic. I mean, you're like, wait, how did that happen? And you take no credit for it. It's a group effort. It's the connection. That's where the magic is. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I had that moment with Laura Cleary. I'm like, she's super cool. She has a podcast. And everyone's like, hello, you deserve to be here. I had that moment where I didn't think I deserved to be
Hmm.
in the same room with her. After even though I talk with women about it all the time, I really try to live it myself. I'm still human and I still felt that way, imposter syndrome. So, it's something that we work on every single day. And having a coach like you by their side could just be a game changer. So we'll drop all of that in the show notes in case y'all are driving or on your treadmill. Don't want any broken bones. We'll drop all that in so you can follow up. But this has been such a great call because I love your books, the way they're written, how authentic and genuine they are. It's very easy to, as you're reading them, to hear your own voice in your head reading them. And so I like that you put yourself out there so vulnerable and so raw because that's what we need. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for saying all of that. You are just a shining light in the world, and I'm so glad to know you. I hope we can do future collaborations or partnerships, and let me know how I can serve you because you have a voice and a story and you're highlighting others. And that is just so important.
Thank you. I love that. I love that. Well, we will keep everyone posted as we continue. Maybe we do have a secret little project in the works, so there may be more there. But thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.